So what happens when you take the fire and the drive of a startup and you point it directly at a major social problem? Well, you get something called social innovation. It's this really powerful idea that's not just about, doing good, but about building new systems that can actually sustain themselves. We're going to dive into how this whole concept is starting to change things.
It all starts with a pretty huge question, right? Can we really use business to tackle the biggest, messiest challenges our society faces? We tend to think of business and social good as being in two totally separate worlds. But what if that's just not true? What if the tools of entrepreneurship, all that innovation, that tech, those sustainable models, are exactly what we need to build a better, more inclusive world? That's really the core promise of social innovation.
Okay, so let's break it down. At its heart, social innovation is about using the best parts of business and tech to create real, lasting solutions for communities that often get overlooked. And the key word there is lasting. This isn't about short-term charity. It's about building engines for change that can keep running on their own, creating both economic and social value along the way.
Now, to really see what this looks like in the real world, we're going to dig into the story of an incredible organization out of Macedonia called Poraka. Honestly, they are a perfect example of how you take these big ideas and turn them into something tangible that actually helps people.
Their mission is one of those things that's incredibly simple, but also incredibly profound. Everything they do boils down to one goal: create systems and services where nobody gets left behind. It's not about patching holes, it's about redesigning the whole system so that everyone has a chance to participate.
Of course, a big mission is great, but you need a plan to make it happen. And Poraka has a super clear strategic blueprint for turning their vision into reality. So let's check out how they actually build this ecosystem for change from the ground up.
And here's the thing, it's not just one program, it's a whole cycle. It all starts in their social innovation labs. These are places where they design solutions with the community, not for them. Then, they take the best ideas and put them into an incubator, giving them the support they need to grow. They also help other nonprofits get up to speed with digital tools, and they run training to empower people to start their own thing. And the final piece? They bring everyone together, businesses, government, you name it, to make sure these solutions can grow and reach more people. It's a full circle approach.
Okay, so that blueprint sounds amazing on paper, but what about the results? What has Poraka actually done with this model? Let's take a look at their journey and the real impact they've had. This timeline really tells a story of evolution. You see, back in 2011, they realized that the old way of relying on donations just wasn't going to be enough. So they started exploring social entrepreneurship to become self-sustaining. Fast forward to today, and they've totally transformed into an innovation hub that doesn't just run its own projects, but actually funds and builds brand new social businesses.
And look at the variety here. It's pretty amazing. They've got enterprises up and running right now, from arts businesses to a street magazine. But they're also looking ahead, developing these ambitious plans for things like accessible tourism and a circular economy. It shows they're playing with the short game and the long game at the same time.
But the real measure of success isn't in plans or tables. It's about the people whose lives are changed. So let's zoom in on a couple of specific projects that really bring all this to life.
Take this project Lice v. Lice. In English, that means face-to-face, which is just a perfect name. It's a social enterprise built around a street magazine that's sold by people from marginalized groups. It gives them a job, sure, but it's so much more. It's a source of dignity, a way to connect with the community. It's empowerment and action.
Now this number, it might seem small, but it is absolutely massive. Through this magazine program, Poraka helped employ the very first person with Down syndrome as an official vendor in the entire country. That's not just a job. That's a historic moment. It's breaking down a huge barrier and showing everyone what's possible.
And their impact doesn't stop on the street corner. They are seriously tech-savvy. They built Signet, which is a whole platform to teach other nonprofits how to do this stuff. They've developed mobile apps to help people who are deaf or have autism communicate better. They're even experimenting with things like social impact NFTs. It's all about using whatever tool works best to solve a real human need.
So, what's next for an organization that's already so far ahead of the curve? Well, you can bet they're not standing still. Poraka is already looking down the road, figuring out how the next wave of technology is going to supercharge their mission.
This really gives you a peek inside their mindset. They know that tools we use to create change are constantly evolving. So while others might still be stuck in the old nonprofit models, they're seriously exploring things like AI and blockchain to create even better services for people with disabilities. They're not just reacting to the future, they're trying to build it. So when you boil it all down, the story of Poraka Nova really shows us that social innovation isn't some fuzzy, abstract idea. It's about the hard work of building real, sustainable, and empowering systems. It's a model for how to create a world that's truly designed for everyone.
And that kind of brings it all back to a final question. For you, Poraka Nova started simply by seeing a need and imagining a better way. So, what are the challenges you see around you? What's that untapped idea that could be a game changer for your community? Because, really, the next great social innovation, it could easily start with you.